And Kathy, what's the old Bo saying? You know what? We've got an appointment at 10:30, right? And it's 10:30. So um, as you see, we're a tad bit late, and folks chiming in today, but it's all good. So we will let them come in as they come in. And I really appreciate you jumping on this morning, Kathy, and sharing whatever it is whatever is on your heart, whatever you feel comfortable with. I appreciate you, and I respect you, and I appreciate you. So, floor is yours, my friend. Giggle Maggie's.
Ben always has to say something about my alma mater.
Right? Because I catch crap by being a Baylor man. So, and Tina, I'm going to get that damn sign today. I completely forgot. Jesus. No, right? So, talk to us.
We all have our alma maters and the places where our hearts live for that college experience. And I think college is just a place where you stick people for 4 years so they can get a little more mature before they get out in the real world. And so we all experience that same kind of growth, and wherever that growth occurs, there's just some special place in the heart for it. So whether it's Baylor, whether it's A&M, whether it's Collin County Junior College, it doesn't matter. It's all still very special as you move through life, and the relationships you make back then just stick with you.
Absolutely.
So then I have a few notes here that I want to make sure I hit a couple of points. That you said speak from your heart. So I'm just going to rip up my notes, and I'm just going to talk to you guys just about what's been laid on my heart this week. And it's about getting ready for the market we're going into. Nobody knows what it is, and it can sound really scary. But I want to share my real estate journey with you. Back in 2006, I had left corporate America and was working real estate full time. Starting from scratch, I didn't know anything about gathering up a database or what you were supposed to do to align yourself with people. I had a good corporate network, but I never called any of them. Why? We'll get to that later, but it was just, okay, I got to go out there, and it's an all new thing now. And I'm full-time real estate. It's all new. I got to just go do all new everything. Well, you probably know how well that worked out. I worked for almost all of 2006, and maybe I closed a deal. I don't even really remember. I just remember being frustrated about this thing not working. Then in 2007, my boyfriend at the time asked me to marry him and move to Arkansas. And I'm like, hallelujah, let's go. Even if it was moving to Arkansas, I was ready to get the heck out of this real estate thing because it just wasn't working. So off to Arkansas we go. And 5 years into that time frame, we did get married, by the way, and we're still married. 5 years into that, we had the opportunity to sell the family business that we were all working in at that time and move back to Dallas. So I'm like, okay, we're moving back to Dallas. So about 5 years of being gone, anything that I had started in real estate was now dead. It is just not, they're not laying in wait for me to come back to Dallas so I can sell their house. So again, it's starting over. I did still have some corporate contacts. Talked to them. I landed some contract gigs with Dr. Pepper. So working that full time, actually going to the office, kind of like a corporate job, but I was trying to start up real estate on the side. And this is in 2015. It's really not working. Am I frozen?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So this real estate thing in conjunction with corporate. I'm part-time real estate. It's really still not working, but I'm at least making some money because I've got this corporate job. And then I took Bold, and it changed my life. It changed what I thought about real estate. It changed what I thought about the business as a whole, because I never really had a lot of respect for realtors, thought anybody could do this. And after going to Bold, it just changed my whole perspective. And I
Uh-oh.
I got to get in with both feet. So I did not renew my corporate contract with Dr. Pepper. That was pretty much assured that I was going to go into a full-time position there. And I did the only thing that I had money to do, and that's an open house, because I didn't cost you a dime. It may have cost you some $3 directional signs. So I did this open house, and a family from Louisiana walks in talking about, oh, how they don't have an agent, but they don't want an agent because they're using Redfin because they get money back. And I didn't know what Redfin was at the time. This was back in 2015, or what their business model was. So it's like, okay, I got to figure out who my competition is out there. But I didn't go, what is Redfin? I just was talking to them, making a connection. I go back to my corporate job that Monday, and I'm working away. About lunchtime, this is like 3 or 4 days later, I get a text from this family from Louisiana wanting to go look at a house. And I'm like, holy moly, this open house thing might really work. So I'm off to the races now with open houses. I'm like, this is my deal. I'm going to do this every weekend. So late 2015, my Dr. Pepper job was finished, and I had enough time to now do the appropriate type of follow-up from those open houses. In 2016, I did 22 open houses and ended up closing 32 deals off of those open houses. They didn't all happen in 2016. Some happened in 2017. Some happened in 2018 after a year and a half of follow-up. So as I'm doing these open houses and people are calling me and I'm busy and I have this activity, in bold, I learned that people move every 5 to 7 years. The statistics may be different now. And I thought, if I can stay in real estate for 5 years, that guy I sold back then is going to move. I can sell his house and help him buy another. So I just got to do enough deals and enough business to keep me running for 5 years, and then boom, I'm on autopilot. So my goal starting out with all of this is to just exist and survive for 5 years. So doing those open houses and doing the follow-up really got me through those 5 years. Now, prior to doing real estate full-time, one of my first jobs out of college was working at a grain company where I was a commodities trader. So I would buy grain, corn, soybeans, wheat, Milo, that kind of stuff from local farmers. I'd gather it all up till I had enough to make a contract for trading, and I would send it up to our trading desk in Chicago to make that trade. So I knew when I hung up the phone talking to a farmer, I gave him a price, he delivered it. I knew when I hung up the phone right then what my margin was. I knew what I was going to make. I knew exactly what was happening in the phone call. Sometimes the phone call was 1 minute, sometimes it may have been 10 minutes. But I made money right then. And that instant gratification, being the first job out of college, that's what I was used to. We all know that real estate is not an instant gratification business. So I'm struggling following up with people. I'm calling these people. Nobody's calling me back. What's happening? I just needed to slow down. I needed to wait for the system and the process to work and give it the time that it's due so that it can work. So I continued with my open house plan. People were actually calling me back. It may take them a week. It may take now 2 or 3 weeks to get them to even get in the car with me, but it's working. So slow down, wait for the process to work. Okay, good. Now, 5 years later is 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. Open houses stopped. We couldn't do those anymore. People were afraid to come to open houses even when we could open up and do that. So the thing that had kept my business alive, the thing that had kept me going, was taken away. And what a sobering thought to think that the well from which I was drinking is now dry. What the heck am I going to do? Well, I still had some of these nurtures and some of these people in my database to follow up with. So that's what I did. That was the only thing I could do. The telephone was the only tool I had at that time. And you know what? I didn't miss a lick. The people I'm following up with, the people I'm talking to, they stuck with me. They stuck with the process. I sold my first house in the pandemic while we were wearing bandana handkerchiefs, going to see and wearing gloves, because face masks were hard to find. But it didn't stop. Not because the open houses stopped. It didn't stop because of that. It kept going because of the relationship I had built with those people I'm following up with. So I guess I'm going to call it a long hauler, because I think that may be a COVID term even. It just hangs on for a while, it hangs on. So we're building long haulers in our database. We're building relationships with people that are going to last for the long haul, because the market we're getting ready to go into is going to be, you're going to be successful if you're a long hauler. If you've got people in your database that you've developed relationships with, they will stick with you. And you have nothing to fear about what a market is going to bring, because you have that database. So my challenge to everybody on this call, I'm going to include myself on that too, is get those long haulers going. If you hadn't talked to somebody in a long time, now's the time. Just do it, do it, do it. And I have been participating on that call hour after huddle every day. It has saved my life. I'm telling you guys, it is awesome. And if you don't have an accountability partner to help you do lead gen, and you need one, find one. Find a community. You're going to need a community to get through the shifting market, and you're going to need long haulers in your database. So get that going and figure it out.
Kathy, I so appreciate that. I think that, you know, we've got a number of folks who are on the call that are not with our family currently, but I still consider them family because they're part of our overall real estate family. And again, I think what you just said is so powerful. I mean, Dan Harker and we were chatting yesterday, and I had a call, a meeting with Heap yesterday, right? Because he wasn't here during the recession, and I told him, and I think you heard me say it. I think we're going to have to do more, sometimes to get less. And not always less, but typically it's going to take a little bit more time, more effort. I think more support, more community. And if you're not, you mentioned it, if you don't have an accountability partner, if you're not part of a community that's supporting you and lifting you up, because we're all going to get down during this. You got to have someone on your team that will keep you lifted. I.e. Patty, sweetie, I'm so happy to see you, right? When we're not feeling ourselves, when we get down in the mud, which we always do, we just can't stay there very long, right? So grab a community, an accountability partner, and we'll all get through this together. So, and trust the process, right? You said long haulers. Again, I think those are folks that trust you. They will be there, and we'll get through it, because we're already seeing things turn here in the marketplace. And like we say every day here at Dallas Preston Road, you still have to go take a listing, right? Because that's where our bread is buttered. I mean, nothing happens unless someone lists a property to start the whole process, right? So thank you for sharing that. Well, we're even a minute or two ahead of pace. So is there anything you want to close with, Kathy, or you're like, just go gig them? What?
Yeah, no, I think that whole just do it thing is so prevalent and so prominent right now. And nobody else is going to do it for you. So if not me, then who?
Amen. Right. And again, you said that the whole Nike thing is like, just do it, right? And I know I didn't create it because I'm sure I heard it from someone else. It's like, you know what, just do it, and then just do it, and then do it better, right? Because in that doing, we will get better, and then things will get even more streamlined, even more efficient. We'll get better at it. Right now, we just have to do it, no matter what that is. And I would say, to everyone on the call, wherever your bread is buttered, continue to do that. And you might need to pour more into that, because my coach was on me because, and I see Kelly's on the call too, that we're not spending nearly enough on our business. And I sit here and I think, well, dang, it seems that I spend a lot, but honestly, they're wanting me to spend another $100,000 on my business, to even increase my profitability. Sometimes those numbers don't add up in my head. But the point here is, I think we need to add one, possibly two pillars more to what we're currently doing, especially in the second half of this year. So whatever that adjustment looks like for you, do it. Because I want to make sure that I see all of you guys right at the top, because that's where we belong. So I appreciate you chiming in, joining in. And like I say each and every week, Kathy, you delivered meat, sweetheart. And right, we got to deliver meat every week. And next week, rest assured, we've got another top performer here in the marketplace that's going to bring heat and bring meat. And I'm sure you guys will get a nugget from it like you did today. And I appreciate you. And I will see hopefully each and every one of you. Matter of fact, next week, bring a coworker, bring a friend, bring someone who just needs community, who needs support, who needs lifting up, because like Dan and I talked about yesterday, what we saw during the last major shift was we saw more than 300,000, closer to 350,000 associates leave this wonderful industry because times are tough for them. And I can assure you, we're going to see some crazy numbers, and that won't be anyone on this call. And so let's not leave any man unattended, right? If someone's down, let's lift them up, and let's expose them to a high-minded group like this and others that you guys are members of, because there's some folks out there that are struggling and need some help. And let's make sure that we're vehicles for that, right? So appreciate it, every one of you guys. Love you, and we'll see you next week.